Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Liz and Nicole. Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, it is a beautiful September 25th. We're almost to fall, almost to candy corn and chai lattes and sweaters. And
I already have mine on.
Yeah.
Not even PSLs, David?
Yeah, why not? Throw a little bit of that in there, a little pumpkin spice. And hello to everyone watching us across Xfinity platforms. Hopefully you are out there enjoying some almost fall weather too. And maybe you are also watching us somewhere across the country 24/7 on Xumo Play. You can find us at the Xfinity What to Watch channel. We have another great show for you today, as always, so let's get right to it. Today, we will each reveal the TV show or movie premiere we're most excited about this week. We will get ready for spooky season with a deep dive into our favorite horror movie subgenres. And Liz will tell us about the TV shows and movies you can enjoy for free this week in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. That's right, it's a 3-segment show, so get ready for a lot of random nonsense, because we got time to fill. Let's do it and get things started with the best premieres of the week in a segment we call Appointment TV. Every week, the Xfinity editors pick the TV show, movie, or special event they are most excited about right now. This week, we kick things off with Liz. Liz, what is at the top of your list?
I am super excited for an NBC premiere tonight on September 25th with Jesse L. Martin. Let's check out this clip.
You're the science guy.
That's Bill Nye. I'm actually the behavioral science guy. Are you familiar with predictable irrationality? Paradoxical persuasion. Retrospective framing. Attentional blindness. Bereavement sex.
That's a thing.
Nothing irrational about that.
Understanding human nature can be a superpower, which is why the FBI ends up calling me.
Did you really help the Rams win the Super Bowl?
Well, that was a risky experiment, but it worked out for them.
Yay. So The Irrational will premiere tonight on September 25th and then come on every Monday after that. And I'm so excited to watch Jesse L. Martin. I love him, and I've loved him since his original Broadway premiere of Rent. Love him. Yes. And then this particular story, The Irrational, is based on a best-selling novel by Dan Ariely called Predictably Irrational. And it follows a renowned professor of behavioral health as he uses his quirky understanding of human behavior to help the FBI solve huge cases for the government, law enforcement, and big corporations. I mean, I feel like this is a little bit of sort of like the House, if you will, of of like true crime. And so I'm excited to see like that quirky type of like thinking and being able to solve these cases that other people can't solve. So I'm excited to see this one.
Liz, I also love Jesse L. Martin from Rent. Like I just admire his talent so much that he can like act in something like this, but also you really wouldn't expect from his other work that he has this incredible singing voice, this like beautiful, deep singing voice, like I'll cover you.
Oh my gosh.
When I sing Rent alone in my car, his parts are my favorite because I can do like the deep voice better than I can do the high voice.
Oh my gosh, me too, actually. And it's and I can sing that original cast of Rent from the first word to the very end. I absolutely love that soundtrack. I love that play. I think I saw it on Broadway original cast probably 3 times. And then after that, saw it another 5 times all over the place. So love him as Tom Collins in Rent for sure.
So jealous. I don't know that I knew you were a big Broadway fan. Did I know this, or have I just discovered something new?
I don't think so. So it all started in college, and Rent really is the one that started it for me. And I feel so blessed that I was able to see them as original cast, and nothing compares after that. It's just been they really turned me on to Broadway, and I've loved this show ever since.
Oh my God, let's do Rent at karaoke sometime.
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Let's sing "I'll Cover You" at karaoke sometime. I've been wanting to get everyone together to go to karaoke with all of us. Anyway, now we're just talking. Now we're just discussing the plans for the weekend. Nicole, thank you, Liz. Nicole, what are you excited about this week?
I am excited about John Wick Chapter 4 hitting stars tomorrow. A little different than Rent. In this franchise, needs no introduction. But let's watch a clip of the newest installment.
Saying goodbyes?
Saying hello.
You think your wife can hear you?
No.
Then why bother?
Maybe I'm wrong.
You're going to die.
Maybe not.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend.
A new day is dawning. New ideas, new rules, new management.
We've known each other since we were 9 or 10.
Who is this?
The Marquis de Gramont. Challenge him to single combat. Win or lose, it's a way out.
I don't sit at the table.
Your family does.
Please pray for me.
Now, I was very anti-John Wick from the jump. Just ask my father. Once the incident with the dog happened, I was immediately just turned off. I'm assuming you guys know what I mean. But my love for Keanu persevered, and I gave this a shot. Or more so, my dad wanted to see it in theaters. So, I had to admit, they really killed it with this one. The action scenes were insane, the camera work, the fighting styles, the stunt drivers, and they even threw in some like light moments for levity. It was just like a wild ride the whole time. Obviously, Keanu is back to reprise his role, but now he's up against a new villain, Bill Skarsgård, aka Pennywise, the ultimate villain. Not to mention the amazing Donnie Yen coming into the storyline as a blind hitman. He also plays a blind warrior in Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I haven't seen Ip Man, the whole franchise, but assuming he's not blind in that, I don't know, because I know he's not blind in real life. Regardless, don't sleep on this one. David, I think you were even in the same theater as me. Thoughts?
I was, and as a matter of fact, I have not seen John Wick's 1 through 3, only 4.
Only 4.
And I didn't feel like I needed to see the first 3. Maybe it's because like John Wick has become such a cultural phenomenon that I've gotten all the information I need about it through stories and just seeing clips and things. Like I know how his whole story got. I know about the dog. I know about his wife. I know all of that. And then it's just like lots of gunfights in the middle. And then we're here to chapter 4. And so the action is incredible. I thought, you get kind of numb to the death because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely one of those things where you just got to turn your brain off and just enjoy the ride because it is pure action movie.
Chaos, nothing makes sense. He should have died 600 times. That kind of magic.
Yeah. But it is really. Go ahead, Liz. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, and nobody does that like better than Keanu, right? Like, I did not watch 2 and 3. So I did watch the first one, and I haven't watched this one yet, but I will. But it just feels like, David, I feel the same way. Like Keanu is just so iconic in that it's almost like he's like, oh, I'm here to fight again. Right. Like he's just so nonchalant about the whole thing. And I love that. And no one else could do an action movie like that but him.
Yeah.
It's just another day in the life for Keanu.
Yeah.
It's a really good time to be a John Wick fan because you've got the Continental from the world of John Wick, which is the 3-part sequel series available right now on Peacock. John Wick's chapters 1 through 3 are available on Peacock, and now chapter 4 will be available on Stars. So you've got access to the whole shebang, as they say.
They do say that.
They do say it. Someone said that once 20 years ago. The show that I am most excited about this week is the all-new spin-off of the hit superhero dramedy The Boys, entitled Gen V, which premieres on Prime Video this Friday, September 29th. Let's take a look at a clip.
Welcome to Godolphin University. Hey! We've trained the best and brightest young heroes since 1965. Godolphin is a safe space for you to thrive. Marie Moreau, you could be the first top-ranked freshman in history.
I think you meant to say first black woman in the 7.
But you have a target on your back.
A few of us are going off campus. Let's have a good time.
I'm sexy, I'm free, and I feel vulgar.
I'm still drunk from last night.
Perfect, just take a sip, say Turbo Rush cures hangovers.
I wouldn't pour this on my if it cured cancer.
There are dangerous, evil people at that school.
Wow. As a quick refresher, The Boys is based on the comic book of the same name and is set in a world where superheroes are real and the most popular crime fighters, a group called the Seven, work for a powerful corporation called Vought International. But these Caped Crusaders are hardly heroic, often corrupt, and only would rescue a kitten in a tree if there were cameras around to publicize the good deed. This show is amazing, well-written, well-acted, incredibly violent, as you saw in that clip, and beloved by several members of the What to Watch Live crew, past and present. This new series, Gen V, is set within the Boys universe and follows young adult superheroes as they learn to harness their powers at a special university run by the aforementioned Vought International. If you're a regular viewer of What to Watch Live, you might remember that I mentioned Gen V last month while discussing my love for the Netflix series Teenage Bounty Hunters, because one of that show's stars, Maddie Phillips, is also in Gen V. Needless to say, I am very excited about this series. Do either of you watch The Boys?
Yep.
No,
yeah,
I haven't.
One. I'm a huge Boys fan. And you're right, David. This looks just as violent as The Boys, but I don't know what it is. It gets people talking. It gets people like, oh, you gotta see this. You gotta see this. Plus, I think where's the Dennis Quaid's son's in it. I'm blanking on everyone's name today. But it's such a great cast. I mean, the storyline has been up and down the whole way through, so I'm excited for this one too.
Yeah, and there will be some characters from The Boys that will appear in Gen V, and there's some all new characters, obviously, but it definitely has like kind of none of you have watched Motherland Fort Salem. It's just me on this Motherland Fort Salem island. But that and like a little bit of like Harry Potter, I suppose, where you're like you're super powered in a school. There's rivalries. There's you're all looking to like climb the ladder and be the best. Not so much like Harry Potter, but they're in a school. They're learning their powers.
Yeah.
There's drama.
Yeah, I'm thinking Sky High. You remember Sky High?
I do remember that. And that's exactly what I thought of too. And I thought I'm not going to say that in case I looked corny saying that. But good.
I said Motherland. I said Motherland Fort Salem. So you can say Sky High.
No, but I do love, here's what I love. And I don't follow this. And I think this is really great. But I love how you mentioned that they talk about, going corrupt with these superpowers, which I think feels like a little more human nature for people to lean that way, right? When you have such a huge responsibility with superpowers and being able to do good with your superpower shows a lot more restraint and discipline than being able to lean onto the dark side of it. So I think that was pretty cool. It does look graphic, but it looks really cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the one part there's like a little twist of Succession too, because it's about big business and about how if you make being a crime fighter into a business where you're taking all these superheroes and the core 7 are used on merchandise or used in movies, and they're the face of superheroes, it adds this level of fame and fortune and selfishness into the mix that makes these heroes corrupt. It's also really interesting that Vought leases out heroes to cities and towns to be their official superhero and patrol, and that's a really interesting angle. And then the boys themselves, I haven't even mentioned who the boys are. They are the rogue group that kind of polices the superheroes, and they're the ones trying to bring these corrupt heroes to justice. So there's a lot going there. I think a lot of people in the world of Marvel and DC popularity think, oh, it's a superhero show. It's something I've already seen. But it's not a Marvel show. It's not a DC show. It is something entirely different and a little bit deeper and more nuanced, I think, than just good versus evil. Yeah. That's my rant. Check it out. I think you would like it, Liz, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too, actually. I'm going to check it out and make the kids watch it with me.
Oh, I would not be disappointed. I really don't think so.
Good.
Next up, it's Tricks, Treats, and Frickin' Bats. They're on the horizon in this pumpkin spice flavored edition of What to Watch This Week. We are just 6 days away from October and the official start of the Halloween season, and the Xfinity editors are preparing for the inevitable onslaught of dude bros dressed like Ken from the Barbie movie by carbo-loading scary entertainment directly into our eye holes. So today, we each decided to take a deep dive into Xfinity's scary movie library by selecting our 3 favorite horror movies in our favorite horror movie subgenre. Nicole, get us started, please. What is your favorite horror movie subgenre?
Easy pick for me. Comedy, horror, all the way. I don't wait until spooky season to enjoy this genre, but I enjoy it year round. The list was tough to pull because I have a lot of favorites, but I did narrow it down to these 3. So first one, Frighteners. This is a 1996 comedy horror film starring Michael J. Fox, Jake Busey, and Dee Wallace. Also directed by Peter Jackson and filmed in New Zealand. So there's some Lord of the Rings foreshadowing there. I saw this in the 90s on pay-per-view, which is such a crazy line. And I loved every minute of it. Fox's character is a lovable con man that can communicate with the dead. He actually sets up these little cons with like ghost friends. Basically they acted like Ghostbusters, so he's cleansing the house. But really he's just trying to collect money on this. But it's not all comedy, soon they realize that there is a mysterious figure killing innocent people. And Fox's character is determined to find out, who's doing this and try to resolve it. Lots of great moments in this one, for sure. Next up, Army of Darkness. Sticking with the 90s, this one is from 1992, directed by Sam Raimi, a sequel to the Evil Dead franchise. Bruce Campbell reprises his role as Ash, but this time, instead of battling a demon in a crabby cabin, he's thrown back in time to 1300 AD and basically teams up with King Arthur on this one, which is hilarious. Now, this one is definitely more comedy than horror, but it's still him battling a demon with one hand now, and he just basically needs to navigate this new world while trying to get back to present day. So it's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of ridiculousness. I still quote this movie all the time. Bruce Campbell does horror so well. It'd be a shame to miss this one for sure. Last but not least, I chose Creep on Netflix. Our fellow editor Maddie recommended this one to me, and I was very pleasantly surprised. This one is technically categorized as a horror thriller, but you will laugh awkwardly the whole time. Patrick Bryce is the star, writer, and director of this found footage film. Also starring Mark Duplass, who has played in a lot of different comedies. Basically, it's like a demented version of My Life with Michael Keaton. Not sure if either of you have ever seen that movie, but Duplass's character hires a videographer to film his last days because he apparently has a terminal illness. So he can give this to his future son, and they'll have some kind of relationship when he's gone. But the character is awkward and weird, and it just leaves you questioning everything throughout the movie. It just gets weirder and weirder. I won't spoil anything, but I laughed a lot during this one. Just a very I'm creeped out, but this is kind of amusing in a way. Certainly a Friday night at home kind of movie. But yeah, that's my spiel. Liz, any thoughts?
Oh my gosh, so many. And because I know that I've mentioned this before. I've never seen any of these movies, and it's because like I'm not a horror fan at all. And this segment I was like dreading. I know you guys were so excited about it, and I'm like, ah. But are these like funny, like overtly funny? Like I would laugh, so like more comedy than horror.
Certainly. I mean, Army of Darkness is like silly. But there's a little bit more elevated comedy, but
so I might like these. I didn't know that that was a thing, and maybe I'll look for that.
I have never heard of Creep. Although when you said found footage, I was like, because found footage is hit or miss, you know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like no one compares to what Blair Witch, but
yeah.
It was done in like a good way. You know what I mean? It wasn't, I don't know if you guys ever saw like Searching or Missing. I feel like your eyes are going so many different places at once. It was kind of hard to keep up with, but it's not like that. Definitely not.
And I like Mark Duplass, so that's selling it for me. The other thing that I picked up on was when you said Frighteners starred Dee Wallace, who is like horror movie royalty with The Hills Have Eyes, Cujo, Critters, E.T. What else am I forgetting? Like The Howling, maybe? Like she's been in a ton of stuff. She's like the go-to mom for people that are going to get terrorized in a horror movie. It's like we need this character's mom. Get Dee Wallace.
Get Dee Wallace on the phone. I will say she is not a mom in this one though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I won't say more.
Before her mothering skills, I guess.
Yeah.
Love it.
That is awesome. Liz, now I'm very curious, since you've been dreading this, what you picked for this segment.
Yeah, because they're not like great movies and that like I love to watch these, like just the opposite. These are the ones that scare me the most, right?
Perfect.
And
what is your subgenre?
My subgenre is supernatural horror. And specifically, oh my gosh, specifically all of these that deal with sort of like based on a true story. And if you look at these and you know these and you've watched these, they have a very similar thread all through these where they all share a mentally unstable, haunted mom in a white dress who killed her children and just literally never got over it and haunts everybody else. And so here are my three choices: The Conjuring, Mama, and The Curse of La Llorona. And so yes, James Wan, obviously he's amazing, right? And it's based on, The Conjuring is based on a true story. And we all know the Warrens really well, who that's what they do. They investigated paranormal activity and, you know Annabelle, ever heard of that, right? So like that's the kind of stuff that really creeps me out because it's real. And they went to investigate this particular family and found that, the mother sacrificed her children and sacrificed them to the devil and then eventually killed herself too. And so she haunted the family there. So very scary. Mama, that's also, The Conjuring's available on HBO and Max. Mama, which is a very similar story. These children were abandoned in a forest, and this woman who was sort of like loosely based on La Llorona as well, where she was, I guess, was mentally unstable, threw herself off of a cliff. Her child did not die, but she didn't realize that. So she's like always looking for her child. Well, she found these two children, and these two children who were abandoned in the forest, like, are literally raised by her, if you will. And so then they are found and rescued, and this woman she's not really a woman, but this spirit persists on sort of being their mother and is very insistent on it and follow these children on. And then the story, the Curse of La Llorona, which is based on a true Latin American folklore about, a mother who drowned her children in a rage of jealousy when she found out that her husband was cheating on her. And this, this story available to rent or own on our platform, just really well done. And again, just a mother protecting her children. And I guess maybe this is why it hits hard and hits differently for me. Like as a mother, I get it. But it also, and not to get too deep into it, right? But it also touches me in a way because it really does, I think, exploit just what motherhood and womanhood is like, and the mental the mental anguish that comes with all of that I think people don't realize how hard it is, and how many times, you know, women are just considered mentally unstable, and how that's kind of like a joke, right? Like, oh, you know, but how hard it is, I think, just as a woman and a mother, and these stories just really, really, really hit home for me when you think that there are people that you want to trust and that you look for comfort, and then they're the very people who are haunting and making life miserable for people. So yeah, I'm literally sweating under this thing. I'm not even kidding.
Oh no!
Talking about this, it really freaks me out because they were based on true stories, and so that really, really plays with my head in a way that no slasher movie can.
Right.
Yeah, the true story stuff gets me too. I've talked about it, so I won't get into it. But like the movie The Entity, which was the movie that scared me more than anything else in my entire life, was based on a true story. And so, but I didn't know that as a kid until it got to the end credits and it started scrolling and it said, yada, 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 still lives today in California with her family. Like, it doesn't tell you till after. And I was like, this was true? Like, I like, it was afterwards that I just felt like the wave of like heat rush up my body where I'm like, oh my God, could this happen? Could this happen to me? Could the entity find me? So that's the stuff that gets me too.
Just creepy.
Yeah.
Sorry to get all deep on you guys.
No, it was great.
No, I have more of appreciation for why these bothered you so much.
Yeah.
I'm sweating too, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Also,
listen, I just think that it needs to be talked about a whole lot more. And a very quick soapbox here, and I had no intention of talking about this, but mental health is so important. And I think especially for women, I'm obviously not a man and I won't know, but it's very hard for women. And we don't necessarily talk about it as you get older and you get to a certain age where things are just different and your body is going through a whole lot of change that people don't necessarily talk about. And it's real. Although it's invisible to others, it's very real. And it just hits me in a very different way now, being on this side of 45 and understanding what a woman and a mother could feel like and how that is misinterpreted, and or just not getting the help that she needs. So not to make this an after school special, guys, but please, you know, mental health is real. And if you ever need help, please reach out to somebody and talk to somebody about it. But sorry to make this, you know, a little more serious than it needed to be. But I think these horror movies, why they terrify me so much is that it's just so real and it touches home for me for sure.
Yeah, it's an important point. I fully, wholeheartedly support the sentiment.
For sure.
It's a strange pivot now to...
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I'm going to pivot to something that's far more ridiculous and hopefully some movies that you can enjoy for how crazy they were, in a very absurd way. Because as I discussed on What to Watch Live a couple of weeks ago, I'm extremely picky with modern horror movies because nothing really scares me. I just don't see movies, unless they're based on a real story sometimes, that really affect me in any kind of way. And there's also very little ingenuity in the genre outside of indie films. But if we're talking about classic horror movies, I love a film that is so outrageously bad that you simply can't unglue your eyes from the screen, which is why my favorite horror subgenre is camp horror. No, not movies that take place at a camp, although that is true in some cases, as you'll see in a moment. I'm talking about a movie that is so ridiculously absurd, gaudy, egregious, and exaggerated in every way that it transcends bad taste to become something amazing. And the first movie on that list is an all-timer in terms of absurdly bad horror movies, the 1983 slasher movie Sleepaway Camp, which follows a troubled young girl named Angela who finds herself at the center of a serial killer spree while attending summer camp. Every aspect of this movie is terrible, from the writing and the acting and the direction and the special effects. But the movie has gained a massive cult following thanks in no small part to the film's shocking twist ending. It's become known as one of the great twist endings in horror movies, but also in all of movie, full stop. The movie spawned an unbelievable 4 sequels, 2 of which starred Bruce Springsteen's sister, Pamela Springsteen, in the lead role of Angela. If you love bad 80s horror movies, if you love bad movies in general, this is the Citizen Kane of that genre. And you can watch it right now on Peacock. It's incredible. It's so good that this is going to be a little inside baseball a little bit, but our internal messaging, people know Slack out there. Slack, there are actually emojis that our fellow colleague and former What to Watch host, Scott, we have added Angela face emojis into Slack that you can use in messages. We've also put stickers up. He has a sticker of Angela's face. It's ridiculous. This is too much. Moving on. Next, it's just wild. Next up, it's the 2009 Megan Fox horror comedy Jennifer's Body, which is now available to watch on HBO and Max. In my personal opinion, this movie, which was written by Oscar-winning Juno director or creator Diablo Cody, gets a criminally bad rap. Unlike Sleepaway Camp, which was unintentionally terrible, Jennifer's Body was designed to be campy. From the often absurd dialogue, to the exaggerated performances, to the overused horror movie tropes, this movie was intended to be outrageous. Unfortunately, I think the movie's poor reviews and subsequent lackluster box office performance were largely due to backlash against Diablo Cody, a movement that often smacked of misogyny and frustration that a woman found success writing clever, funny dialogue that referenced pop culture. But, I digress. When Seth MacFarlane does it, he's a genius. When Diablo Cody does it, she's a hack. But anyway, I could go on and on. She didn't deserve it. She won an Oscar. Everyone was like, oh, she won this. We're so sick. Oh, they're saying clever, witty things. You're going to do it again? We hate this. Anyway, I not only that, but I did a deep dive into Rotten Tomatoes reviews. Of the 115 negative reviews for Jennifer's Body, 90 of them were written by men. Just saying.
Surprise.
Wow.
Just a fun fact. Jennifer's Body is so much fun and an absolute gem of a camp horror genre. And I know it's become cool to say that, Megan Fox is a bad actress or whatever. She's really good in this. She's just living her best life. She's having fun. They all are. Amanda Seyfried's having fun. It's a lot of fun. It's also bloody and totally outrageously violent, but it's a good time. Finally, a movie that is near and dear to my heart, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, which you can rent or own now on Xfinity platforms. I've loved Gremlins for as long as I can remember. But I didn't know that Gremlins 2 is generally considered inferior to the original until 5 years ago. I was a full-grown adult when I realized people don't generally like Gremlins 2. But again, this is a case of a movie fully embracing its own absurdity. In many ways, Gremlins 2 is a satire of the original film and its massive success, replacing the small-town setting with a New York City skyscraper and introducing a variety of gaudy, pretentious, self-obsessed gremlins like the leopard print skirt-wearing Greta Gremlin and the suit-clad Fraser Crane-like Brain Gremlin. The movie even breaks the fourth wall for a moment when the gremlins interrupt the film reel, tear it apart, and it prompts a theater usher to enlist the help of WWF champion Hulk Hogan, who scares the gremlins into restarting the movie. This all happens in the movie.
Yeah, that's why you like it. I get it now.
And yeah, exactly. It's great. And apparently that animation was done by the Warner Brothers crew who's behind Bugs Bunny. There's a lot of really great talent behind the scenes. And another fun fact that I love is that the voice of Brain Gremlin was performed by actor Tony Randall, who is, of course, best known for playing Felix Unger in the 1970s TV series The Odd Couple, And for those of you who weren't already aware, the voice of our Mogwai hero Gizmo is performed by the one and only Howie Mandel, which I think most people know, but hopefully one person out there is like, what? Mind blown. But I love Gremlins 2, and I think I might actually go rewatch it as soon as the show's over, because it's super weird. And Christopher Lee is in it playing a doctor. You know, there's all kinds of great cameos from people who are like, oh, I recognize that guy. So
I do love it. I'm so surprised that I saw 2 of these. Like, I love, as crazy as it sounds, I remember Sleepaway Camp, and I just remember like the end being like, I can't believe that just happened, right? Like it was crazy. And I remember seeing that. And I remember going to the movies to see the Gremlins. And when that actually happened in the middle of the movie theater, like it was like mind blowing that this is like, we've never seen this before. This has never been done.
Yeah.
It was exciting. It was very exciting. But yes, I love these. I love these 2. I've never seen Jennifer's Body, but I do love 2 out of the 3 for sure.
I feel like it's worth mentioning that Sleepaway Camp has endured a lot of criticism in recent years because of issues of gender identity as it relates to one of the characters that I'm not going to spoil. But so I think that's worth like acknowledging that in modern terms, it is problematic. There's not even a but. It is problematic.
Yeah.
So take it as you will. It's still a really wild movie. It's campy, it's dumb, it's really, really bad. If you like slasher films, you will enjoy this, but worth acknowledging that point.
Good call out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Check out all the movies we just talked about simply by saying what to watch into your Xfinity voice remote. You can also browse a curated collection of horror movies, scary TV shows, creepy music, and so much more by saying Halloween. Next up, our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration continues in a segment called Free This Week. Xfinity's Free This Week program continues with free previews of Docurama and Flix Fling, as well as Video Rola, RCN Novelas, and more to help celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And here to tell us more about these shows, movies, and specials you can enjoy for free through October 1st is our very own multicultural editor, Liz. Liz, give us the full rundown.
Yeah, thanks. And so, as you mentioned, we're going to continue celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And this particular week, we have some really great partners that are going to help us celebrate. And then we'll have some other documentaries and great classic films for everybody else. And so our partners at RCN Novelas, Video Rola, and Veme Kids will help give us a wide range of content for us to enjoy and celebrate Hispanic heritage. So discover a new novela with RCN Novelas, watch an outstanding concert or new music video. And earlier this month, we were talking about music videos and not being able to see enough of those. You can actually relax and let the kids indulge in watching Veme Kids and knowing that they're getting really great content. And all of these are available in Spanish language as well. And then to round out our offering, our partners at Docurama and Flix Fling are coming through to help us out with additional titles where on Docurama, if you've never heard, you can catch an inspiring true story film or documentary or TV show. And then with Flix Fling, you have the opportunity to watch anything classic or a movie that is a hard to find title. And so this is what we have for this week. And then our partners at Zumo Play and Freevee with always free content. So we're always happy to have all of them help us celebrate not only Hispanic Heritage Month, but a really great week in general with some awesome titles. What about you, David? I think that you mentioned something about being excited about this week.
I am, because I love documentaries. Like, I'll sit and watch nothing but documentaries for a full day and weekend. And I'll mention quickly that Docurama has two of the best documentaries ever made, period. The Act of Killing and The Look of Silence, which are actually companion documentaries about Indonesian genocide in the 1960s. It's obviously not a feel-good story, but they are absolutely two of the most compelling documentaries I've ever seen. They were both Oscar nominated, and from director Joshua Oppenheimer. So if you're looking for some place to start this week, I highly recommend those two movies. If you're looking for something a little lighter, I just happened to notice and did absolutely no additional research on something called Fart, a documentary that was available on.
I don't think you need to research that. I think just by the title alone.
It says it all, but it's on Docurama. I just saw the poster art, and it said something like a historical look at the fart. I wonder if I can get away. I shouldn't even say it anymore. I think 2 is probably where I max out. Where being able to say that word. Who knows? So yeah, check out those 2 documentaries and that one documentary, all on Docurama. I don't know if you have anything you want to add. Anything, Nicole or Liz?
I just being the movie editor, I was always looking forward to Flix playing. They have a few classics that I haven't seen yet, and I don't know about you guys, but I really got into classics during COVID. There's nothing new coming out, so I kind of went backwards. But they got some good gems in there, but now I feel like I have to look at the docudrama stuff. Thank you, David. Yeah.
You're welcome. Fart, a documentary. All right, I allowed myself one more. 3 times. Where do we get to the PG-13 rating? How many F bombs? Well, now that's 4. 4. I think we've crossed the line. Xfinity's Free This Week program offers a new selection of free content from streaming services and premium networks every week of the year with no strings attached. Just say free or free this week into your remote to check it out. And that will do it for today's show. Thank you so much to my fellow Xfinity editors, Liz and Nicole, for joining me. Shout out to Brad and Josh, our producers, everyone behind the scenes who put this all together. Thank you. If you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch into your voice remote, or tune in here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. You can also check us out across the country 24/7 on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Xumo Play. My name is David. Thank you so much for joining us on What to Watch Live.
Bye.
Bye.